This takes us in nicely into the fact that because we're looking to keep this body clock regular, we want regular sleep, because that's going to be a massive contributor to how regular we are on a day-to-day basis. And something that can contribute towards the regularity of sleep is having a consistent area or environment to sleep in. And what we mean by like the sleep environment is essentially the room that we sleep in. How is it set up? Is it set up to facilitate and improve your sleep, or is it set up to keep you awake at night and have your brain almost thinking about other things which keep you awake? Now, again, to note on this is completely dependent on your living circumstances. So obviously those with more rooms in a house can have more options to put places elsewhere. Those of you in smaller accommodations like one bedroom flats, etc., obviously you're limited, so you just have to make the best of the situation that you're in. Again, there's no right or wrong, but you can do things to influence things in a positive way. And the idea, we're just trying to influence our sleep and to give us a better length and quality of sleep. Now, the first thing I want you to do, almost like a task, so I want you to do this now, even if you pause the video, I want you to write down the earliest time possible for you to go to sleep. So that's the earliest time where you feel tired, where lights off, you can go to bed. Doesn't matter what that time is, just write it down and keep a note of it. So hopefully now you've done that task. Realistically, our bed is for sleeping and cuddling maybe, but realistically the whole point of bed is to sleep and to rest and recover. We don't really want to associate bed with anything else. And this means, like I've said, the surrounding area, like the literal surrounding areas of your bed, needs influence and contribute towards sleep. So I'm just going to list off a few factors that you can start thinking about. Again, pick a couple, work on them, see if you can adapt them and change them to your circumstance. Because like I said, I'm talking to a lot of you with completely different houses and situations. But work on them and see if they also help improve the quality of the sleep that we're getting. One of the first things is, can you keep the temperature low? So I think from what we know, around 16, 17 degrees at night time is a good temperature for good quality sleep. By being cooler, the body is able to relax a little bit more. We all know what it's like on a hot summer's night. If it's absolutely roasting, it's really hard for us to kind of settle down and sleep. We want to minimize the clutter in the room. So any clutter there is, that could be clothes, books, work stuff, just hanging around the bedroom. If we're going to bed and we can visually see clutter, for some of us, it might stimulate the brain to go, oh, I need to be doing this, I need to be doing that, I need to put this away, I need to put that away. Or if it's work-related stuff, you might be thinking about, work thoughts go through the brains, and it just, again, it stimulates that arousal that kind of fires you up again, when actually we don't want that. We want to be relaxing, chilling, and just calming the body down before we head to sleep. One of the third things we could do is, again, minimizing the screens in the bedroom. So again, if you're going to have a TV, can you put it on the dark mode, night mode, or can you wear some blue light blocking glasses whilst you're watching TV in bed? Obviously, in an ideal world, don't have screens in the bed at all. If you're going to watch TV, watch it in the front room. Then when you are done, turn everything off. Then you go to the bedroom purely to sleep. Again, same with the phones. Can you leave your phones either in the front room, or if you need it for your alarm, make sure the alarms are set. Put it on your bedside table, and then when you're in bed, try not to touch your screens. Try not to sit there just scrolling away for the sake of it. Try and stay off the screens and think about going to sleep. So this one might feel quite obvious, but keeping the room dark. Naturally, if we can keep the room as dark as possible, we've got that darkness that the body wants, so we can really try and drift off into a decent sleep. So we've got things like blackout blinds, thick curtains, etc. If these aren't possible for whatever reason, then you may want to look into eye masks, for example, because they can be decent at just blocking out as much light as possible whilst you're asleep. And the last one, not really affecting your regularity of sleep, but something that you can use to analyze your regularity of sleep, is maybe use a sleep tracking app. Now obviously it goes against the whole don't use the screens, but if you can literally turn your sleep tracking app on just before you go to bed, it will track kind of the quality of your sleep, and then you have some data that you can actually look at and go, do you know what, my sleep is or isn't improving, and depending on the apps that you use, it might tell you at what stages of nighttime that you're having disturbed sleep, or when you're in your deep sleep. The one I would recommend is the one that I use. Is called Sleep Cycle, but there are other ones out there, so you can just experiment with which sleep apps you use. And I suppose the most important aspect of regularity when it comes to sleep is the time you go to sleep and the time that you wake up. So the waking up time is arguably more important than the go to bed time. We're looking to get no less than 5.5 hours. So obviously, depending on what stage you're at now personally with your sleep, on how many hours you're getting, the ideal part, number one, is, I suppose, is can we get at least 5.5 hours of sleep per night? And then we're looking to build from there. So that time I've got you to write down a bit earlier of your earliest possible bedtime, so to say. I now want you to write down your wake up time, your daily wake up time, because in an ideal world with this regularity thing, we want your wake up time to be the same every day. So even on the weekends then, say for example you're someone that wakes up early Monday to Friday but doesn't want to wake up quite so early on a weekend. Again, this is talking absolute ideal, so this might not be that convenient for you. You'd have to play around with this. You could just set your alarm for the same time that you would normally wake up Monday to Friday. Wake up so you're aware of it, but then you can stay in bed, drift back off to sleep. And that will help from the regularity point of view of, well, I'm still waking up at the same time, which keeps kind of the body clock kind of going in the same cycle, essentially. Now, all of this isn't to say if you suddenly stop having this regular sleep that it's all going to go Pete Tong, but if you can, life is life, and we will have these times when you can't either get to bed at the same time that you normally would, i.e. it'll be a bit later, and you also can't wake up at the same time for whatever reason. So that's okay. The idea is okay, this is just for the majority of the time, and the others just be anomalies and outside of the normal. But as soon as you can, get back to that normal regular routine, and that should again lead to better quality sleep, better length of sleep, less disturbed sleep.